The Eriadu Trade Summit was a disastrous summit that occurred a year before the events of Phantom Menace, and in many ways resulted in the subsequent Clone Wars and Sidious's rise to power. But what exactly happened on Eriadu? Now, although the summit itself is considered canon, there's very little information regarding it, so extracts from this video is now going to be considered legends. Now, as we know, there was a great deal of tension between many large companies, particularly the Trade Federation and the Republic, as these companies often avoided paying taxes. As well as this, they dealt in goods and materials from non-Republic worlds. The problem with this is non-Republic worlds aren't bound to the same rules and regulations regarding things such as the environment, slavery, and fair trade. And for this reason, these companies were far more competitive. Ultimately, it meant that Republic companies were being undercut by these companies. As well as this, a long list of ethical violations were being breached. A small extremist group known as the Nebula Front, who had fought the Trade Federation in the Outer Rim, had begun wildly publicising this, and the Senate demanded Chancellor Finis Valorum do something about it. And this is where the senator from Naboo, Palpatine, put forward the idea of a trade summit on the planet Eriadu. This meant that all interested parties could come to an accord. Now, interestingly enough, the planetary governor of this world was Wilhuff Tarkin, and he comes back into play later on. Now, nearly every big company or influential group attended this summit. The Trade Federation, the Techno Union, the Commerce Guild, the Hutts, the Association of Free Trade Worlds were all included. And many of these groups would one day go on to join the CIS, and that's why this meeting is so important. Now, Sidious had secretly made arrangements with the Nebula Front, who would fake assassination attempts on the Supreme Chancellor, instantly sowing mistrust between the two parties. However, this was an illusion. The real target was the Trade Federation's delegates. By hacking the security droids, the Nebula Front successfully killed 6 of the 7 directors of the Trade Federation, which would eventually lead to Nute Gunray taking control. Because of these deaths, the summit ended prematurely with nothing being resolved. Therefore, the Senate went forward with their plans to heavily tax all goods taken through the free trade zones. At the same time, Sidious made Valorum look weak, as he'd failed to accomplish anything, but he'd escalated the brewing conflict. As well as this, the Jedi received backlash for failing to protect the directors. As a result, the Republic Senate imposed strict restrictions on Valorum's ability to rule, and include Jedi involvement in his affairs. Trying to save face, Valorum would attempt to investigate this attack. However, the governor of the planet, Tarkin, refused to help. Now, this may be because Tarkin himself was in league with Palpatine and helped orchestrate the attack as he did in Legends, or possibly just because he had a distaste for Valorum's politics and wanted him ousted from his position as Chancellor. Another important factor is Kuwait Drive Yards, whose 2 delegates were killed during the assassination. They believed that the droids were an attempt by the companies to kill Valorum, and it had gone horribly wrong, and that the other Trade Federation delegates, chiefly Gunray, who had benefited highly from this, didn't care who got caught in the crossfire. For this reason, Kuwait became closer with the Republic. Ultimately, Sidious got everything he wanted from this summit. Valorum was shown as weak, negotiations between the conglomerates and the Republic were tenser than ever, and his pawn Gunray was now the leader of the Trade Federation and would soon go on to blockade Naboo. All the whilst, Palpatine just looked like the man trying to reach peace, that was ruined by Supreme Chancellor Valorum's incompetence. But what do you think of Palpatine's plan, and do you think it was the main factor leading to the blockade and the subsequent war? Thanks for watching, I hope that you enjoyed. Please remember to like, share and sub, as it's really appreciated and helps the channel grow. Also, please remember to tick the bell, as YouTube hasn't been sending everyone notifications on when I release a new video recently. And finally, don't forget to follow me on Twitter at @TheLoreGuy for regular updates. But most importantly, thanks for watching, I really do hope that you enjoyed this video and learned something new, and I'll see you next time.